For our first story of the day, we're going to be talking about 5 moves the Minnesota Vikings can still make this offseason. Well, not counting the draft. This is free agency moves like trading and pickups. So what the Minnesota Vikings still need to do, because they need to do a lot. This free agency has not been good to us so far. A lot of players we saw leave, and now our secondary looks worse than it was even last year. But I mean, the Stephon Diggs trade we already covered all this free agency moves on our previous episodes. If you'd like to check that out, and so we're going to be talking about 5 moves the Minnesota Vikings can still make. So this first wave of free agency went by, and it wasn't very nice to us. It wasn't very good. However, we freed up a lot of cap space for this future moves that the Minnesota Vikings can do. So we're going to be talking about 5 ones that could happen, and I'm going to say if I would like them to happen. So we're going to start with how we do it all the time and most likely to happen, and then work our way down to like least likely to happen. So to start it off, we're going to be talking about a trade that everyone's been talking about, one that is looking more and more likely to happen, and that's Trent Williams joining the Minnesota Vikings on offense. So far, this Minnesota Vikings offense for this offensive line position has been pretty good. I mean, they've made some weird moves. So they terminated Josh Klein's contract, and that was needed. That was great that they terminated his contract, overpaid offensive line, and then after that, they brought back Rashad Hill, Brett Jones, and Dakota Dozier. Now, that was really smart. So the Minnesota Vikings offensive line is very deep. They have a lot of depth on their offensive line. But that's not what we need right now. We need starters. We need players that are great, because we have players right now that can step into the starting role that are backups and look just as good, if not better than the starters, because we don't have that great starters. Our starters are not there, but our depth, like our backups, are just looking good and good. So there's a lot of depth, but we just need starters. And Trent Williams is a starter. Now, right now, Trent Williams wants to leave the Washington Redskins. He does not want to play there. And from what we've seen in the past, when players don't want to play for a team, they're usually not going to be forced to play for the team, and they're either going to get traded for low value, which Trent Williams is, or they're going to get cut by the team. So it's pretty clear that the Washington Redskins want to trade Trent Williams. However, they don't make that verbally clear, because they're trying to get the upper hand on the deals. Always, that's what happens. That's what we see in every trade. Teams say that they don't want to trade their players, but really they do, because they're just trying to get leverage on the deal. So the Washington Redskins, there's 1 year left on his contract. He's 31 years old. He's injury prone, and he's not in his prime right now. So why would they want to keep him? Well, they're going to cut him because they don't want toxicity in their locker room. So why would they not cut him? Well, they're going to. And plus, they can get a new offensive tackle in the draft. No, they don't have a second round pick. No, they can't. But still, why would you want him? You don't need him. So they're going to trade him for very low cost, which is great for us, because for the Vikings, and he's an overpaid contract too. So Vikings can get him easily. 5th round pick. You don't have to give up a lot for him, because they're trying to get rid of him, even though they're not verbally saying it. It's pretty clear they want to get rid of him, because they're probably going to cut him otherwise. I mean, he's 1 year, 31-year-old. You don't really want to keep that. How the Vikings can get him is pretty clear. I mean, the Vikings only have to get rid of a 4th, 5th round pick, 6th even. We can pack up a 6th and a 7th. The Vikings have a lot of those late picks. And to get a player like that for just giving up so little is so nice, because they're going to cut him anyways. And then we don't have to give up a lot, and this would be great for us. Now, the first move the Vikings would have to do, so they can pay his contract, because he has a pretty hefty contract, is just cut Riley Reiff. Riley Reiff is so overpaid. In fact, I think Rashad Hill, his backup, is better than he is. And he gets injured, and why would you want to keep Riley Reiff as your starter when you could just play Rashad Hill? Why have they not cut him yet? I don't understand, because they can bring Rashad, be a backup. I think he's a great backup. I don't know if Rashad Hill's really a starter, but neither is Riley Reiff. And then you can bring in Trent Williams and use him as a starter. So this is a move that I think is very likely for the Vikings to still make. Plus, Vikings and Redskins always make trades. As for this next one, this is one that I've talked about already in a whole video where I was talking about trading Anthony Harris. Now, when the Vikings tagged Anthony Harris, I was surprised, and I thought it was just going to be to trade him. Now, I think that's what they were trying to do. I think that's what Rick Spielman was trying to do. However, he has not seen a good enough trade yet, or a good enough offer with a team for him to actually want to get rid of him, because even if he plays for the team next year, no one's complaining, like I said. And then we can see Anthony Harris go to a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams are looking for him. The Eagles are one of them. The Patriots, he was looking with the Patriots. I think that's very likely that he goes to the Patriots. So yeah, there's a lot of teams that will be looking for a safety, especially a safety with Anthony Harris's talent. And I think trading Anthony Harris is very likely still to this point, even though it hasn't happened yet. I think it's pretty likely that a team a lot of teams will have their eyes on him. And this is a move that I've been wanting to see. This is a move that, like, see, a lot of people don't want to see this coming, but like really you can get a lot out of him. And I don't want to pay 2 safeties this kind of money. It's just not as important of a position. Well, it's an important position, but you can find a lot of like good safeties in the 3rd round or whatever that can still be like backup starters and free safeties. But yeah, Vikings can still get a safety 2nd round, maybe Antoine Winfield Jr. from Minnesota. But outside of that, the Vikings don't really have good safeties. They have Harrison Smith, Anthony Harris, who are amazing, great starters. And then nobody after that. J-Ron Curse is not here anymore. Anderson Dejo's not here anymore. So that's the second possibility that the Vikings can still make, is trading Anthony Harris. Even if they don't find a trade, that's totally fine. Just use Anthony Harris another season. Like I said, no one's complaining. I have a full video. I'll have it linked down below if you would like to watch it, where I'm talking about the Anthony Harris trade. So I've already talked about the Minnesota Vikings grabbing a left tackle and saying we need a left tackle, whether it's trading for Trent Williams, whether it's grabbing one in the 1st round, or now whether it's signing Jason Peters, the 39-year-old, 328-pound left tackle from the Eagles. I don't know the last time I've seen a tackle that's that or a player that weighs that much that's been playing since he's 39. Now this is a move that's really not. I think Jason Peters just got to retire at this point. He's been playing so long and he's that big, like, but he still wants to play. And I mean, you can put him on a 1-year deal, maybe use him as a transitional piece, because the offensive line is really young. Maybe grab some like more veterans on it. And this is a move that really could happen. He's still great. I mean, he played great last season, and the Vikings could take him. And then personally, I'd rather start Rashad Hill than starting Jason Peters, just because of what we've seen from him. He's very injury prone. He's old. He will cost a lot of money. But if you bring him in, you can have Rashad Hill as your backup, and a great backup for when he goes down. So this is a move that I was kind of iffy on. I don't know if it's a great idea, but we really could see it happening, and it could pay off in the future when you bring in like a veteran like that for a transitional piece when you have a young offensive line. And then once again, we have depth on the offensive line. We don't have talent, and we need talent. We need players that have played a long time, like Trent Williams, like Jason Peters, who have been to Pro Bowls, who have been in the system for like 10 years now, and that's just what we need. We need at least one of those guys. We need to bring in somebody, whether it's those 2 guys or someone else. A guard, maybe. We need basically everywhere on the offensive line outside of center. Now, as for this next one, because I think this is the 4th one. Yeah, this is a corner that I love. I love this corner, and this is Logan Ryan from the Tennessee Titans. Used to be with the Patriots. How old is he now? 29 years old. So yeah, he still has a lot of years ahead of him. And after losing all of these corners, Xavier Rhodes, Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Waynes, now we have Mike Hughes, and who's the backup? I mean, the second person, Holton Hill, or is it Mike Hughes? I mean, Mark Fields or whatever his name is. Okay, it's definitely Holton Hill. So it's now Mike Hughes and Holton Hill. You don't want those to be your starting 2. I don't want to see Holton Hill out there unless if he's filling in for someone. So I would have Mike Hughes pair up with a corner, whether that's Logan Ryan. This is a corner that I like, and I think the Vikings should take him. Whether that's him or you draft a new corner, I don't want Holton Hill on the field or Mark Fields on the field, because from what we've seen, like, Holton Hill is good. He's just not a starter good. Like, yeah, you can bring him in a few games, part of a few downs, I mean, every game, and he's a great player, but I cannot see Holton Hill playing more than 50% of a game, or even that much of a game, because of how much he falls off after he plays. And Logan Ryan is such a good corner. He was great on this Tennessee Titans secondary, who looked amazing this last season. And it's a move, I think, that I should have put this as like the most likely move, because this is a move that the Minnesota Vikings just need a corner. And taking a corner in the 1st round has not been very good to us at all, ever. So, besides from Antoine Winfield. But yeah, so taking a corner 1st round is what we would need, but that's never been good to us. It never works for whatever reason. So just grab Logan Ryan, use him as your second or starting corner, or left or right corner, who really cares? And then have Mike Hughes too, because Mike Hughes was also a 1st-round pick that you need to get the most out of. He showed some promise and then had that injury where he was wearing the leg brace. And for the 5th and final move that the Minnesota Vikings could make, these are like big moves that they could make this offseason, and that would be grabbing probably the best free agent still available, and that's Jadeveon Clowney, the defensive end from Seahawks. Was drafted 1st overall by the Texans in the 2016. Is that right? Yeah, 2016 draft. And yeah, again, Jadeveon Clowney is a player, so we're good on defensive ends right now, really. Like, Afadio Denebo is a great second. Danielle Hunter is an amazing starting defensive end. But really, if you bring in Jadeveon Clowney, the Minnesota Vikings is probably the best place he can go, because you can have Afadio Denebo play on the inside. We've seen this a lot last season. Like, Afadio is amazing on the inside, and he's probably better on the outside or on the defensive end position. But really, we've seen him play on the inside, and the Vikings need help on that defensive interior position because of how bad it was this last season. We got killed by the run game, and to have Jadeveon Clowney, probably one of the best pass rushers in the whole league, one of the best. But the thing is why he's still on the free agent market is because of how many injuries he gets. He's always injured, and he costs a lot of money. When you're paying a player like that to sit on your bench like half the season, that's the reason why he's still out there. And that's the reason why no teams have taken him yet. But whoever takes him is going to be happy. I think he most likely for him, though, would be going back to the Seahawks. But probably the best of him would be going to the Vikings. Because really, if he goes down with the injury, you can have Afadio Denebo play on your side and Danielle Hunter play on the right side. And you're good at the defensive end position. I didn't add bringing Everson Griffen back on this list because Everson Griffen said he's not coming back. And which is weird because he said he wanted to finish his career in Minnesota and then kind of said like he's not coming back or whatever. He was probably mad at someone for not bringing him back or saying something. Or maybe it's not even his fault. I don't know what the whole scenario is, but Everson Griffen is not coming back, basically what he said. So in this case, Danielle Hunter on the side, Afadio Denebo on the inside, Jadeveon Clowney on the outside. That's an amazing defensive line. Like, you don't need anybody besides that. And then you have Michael Pierce as your new defensive tackle. We don't really know, or your nose tackle. We don't really know what's up with him. Really, he's young though. So then you could just focus on secondary in the draft because that's really what the Vikings need. And you don't need to take as many defensive tackles because Afadio is great, and he's a definite starter for a defensive end. However, playing him the inside would be smart too. So let me know any decisions I'm missing. If there's any players I'm missing, anything, just let me know in the comments below. As well as when you go down there to leave your comments, just click that like button. Thanks for watching, and as always,